Hi, my name is Afshan D'Souza-Lodhi, and I'm going to be reading from my poetry collection, Re Desire, published by Burning Eye Books. In the name of my mother, the most kind, sometimes merciful, but almost always gracious. The first poem I'm going to read is called Anonymous Was a Woman, and it goes like this. Anonymous was a woman who wrote romance only in stories, for living them and watching love die was too hard. She never knew what it was like to turn heads, to be the object of someone's desires, and that's why she wrote love stories on her body, hoping that lovers would fall in love with them and in turn her. She doubted herself, but her stories, her words that spoke of true love, she trusted them more than she trusted her own skin. No one wants to be walking propaganda for censorship. Maybe that's why she did it. Anonymous, a woman. She kept it that way, waiting for the ink to dry. She shed her clothing. The words on her skin, a sign of survival marred with possibilities and excitement. Mashallah, they speak volumes. Her father had told her that the female voice is aura, but even anonymous words can change the world. The next piece is called She Is Not an Arsonist, and it goes like this. She is not an arsonist. Every day she burns her own skin to walk out the door, face the world. Their mothers thought the embers in her eyes were the sun reflected. They soon saw their own suns reflected. They burned her, not in food with spices or being lovesick over dead husbands. They burned her like factories making ugly jumpers burn, by accident, by making young boys throw lit alcohol bottles into her, by speaking their untruths for her, by disposing cigarettes on her by mistake. They burnt her by mistake, told her plain features were now cured by ugliness, used rebirth to justify their fire. Her skin grew back thicker, with a character of its own. She grew scars over scars in a way that amateur DIYers paste wallpaper over wallpaper, but the keloid became her armour. Now, all fair and lovely, she burns her skin before she leaves the house. It is the only way she knows how to face the world. She is not an arsonist. She cannot be an arsonist. The only thing she burns out is herself. The last poem that I'm going to read is from my mum. It's called Mother Tongue, and it goes like this. Mother tongue. My mother's mother tongue is Konkani, but she uses my father's language at home. We have to, because having multilingual arguments in the house would confuse MI5, and well, we're just too kind for that. So instead we speak Urdu, the language of love, the language of poets, but all my mother ever hears are butchered slang words young boys sling at each other on the bus. My mother's mother tongue is Konkani, but outside the house she uses English because God forbid anyone thinks she's a freshie. She's learnt to not roll her R's and use only sparingly, but still she gets asked, darling, where are you really from? She hears cheap imitations of a voice she's tried so hard to shake on TV and film, and it reminds her of what she sounds like to the rest of them. My mother's mother tongue is Konkani, but sometimes she speaks Hindi, like when we're out shopping and talking about the guy who just queue-jumped in front of us. She smiles when she speaks it, head up, proud, brings her closer to home. But then she has to revert back to the language of the colonizer to finish the sale, and suddenly her head lowers. My mother's mother tongue is Konkani, but the only time she ever speaks it is to her mother on Sunday mornings. I watch her struggle sometimes. She tries to remember the word for fruit and replaces it with English or Urdu. She blames it on her growing age, but I know that she's forgotten. Mujhe mai chibas Konkani, and so should mine be. I dread the day my grandmother passes, for I'm afraid my mother will lose her tongue. She won't speak with proudness or chat back with slickness. On my mother's tongue, it will feel foreign in her mouth. Thank you.